Is everybody all right in between the two games?
Femi's got a little bit of an issue, so we feel that he will miss out. He hasn't trained today, so that's not going to be long term. But Reece Norrington-Davies coming on for half an hour was big for him and for us, and everybody else has come through the game on Tuesday night. You know, it was a physical old game, and delighted that we put our foot in. We ran around against a physical side, and we played round them and over them, and through them, and deserved the opportunity to be in the next round. And a lot of good things said about Tuesday night. I was delighted, and I said before, and I think I talked to you after the game about it. Every game is so important, and I know that on Tuesday night there'll be some clubs that wouldn't have been at it, and is disjointed and not together. For me, Tuesday night was so important to show what we're about, as well as a group, as a big group as well. So yeah, it was a lot of changes made, but the atmosphere around the place afterwards in the change room, everybody was in there congratulating the young players, congratulating the likes of Suter and Trusty, and those boys, and Rian on their performances as well. So that's what I encourage. That's what I try to create here, the environment, and we're getting there slowly but surely.
How much did some of those players then, not surprise, but maybe improve their stock with the manner of that performance?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, every time you put a shirt on, there's always an opportunity to impress everybody that's watching you. Impress people if you think you're on the way out of your football club that could potential, suitors for you, and most importantly, the manager and the coaching staff. And no doubt, every one of those players did that in what they did, how they went about their job, and how they played. Listen, I'm not going to pick out names, and you'll have picked out names, and I've heard names being mentioned, over the last 24, 48, 72 hours, because I live in this city. But there was some really good performances and difficult decisions that have to be made. There's not going to be endless changes, but it does give you comfort that if you need to, bang, in you go, and it's and that's what you need. I said last time we went up, the players that were the important ones were the Craneys, were the Medines after January, were the Dowells, were the Marvin Johnsons that came in and played your 5, 10, 15 games. So it's important that we understand that those players we have are going to be good enough. We don't want to be chopping and changing the team week in, week out. We want to settle side, but we want that opportunity to deal with injuries, suspensions, and maybe just a little bit of fatigue now and again because of the schedule of the championship, and we have that chance to do that, and we're getting there. It's and as well, I don't think people maybe not people understand, but I think they do in a way that the likes of say if you looked at Suter's performance on Tuesday night, if I'm Robinson, if I'm Trusty, if I'm in his position, I'm going, I've got to play well here. If I'm a midfield player, there might have been a young midfield player that played quite well on Tuesday night, saying I need to play well here. So all of a sudden it just raises standards and raises that bar, and I'm delighted that it does. Training Thursday was great. Hopefully we can take it Thursday, Friday sessions into the weekend, but different performances all of a sudden. Jez coming in, Brooksy now is looking and going, I've got to play well. Got my shirt, I've got to do the business now. So there's no downside into playing well, and no downside having that. We're not going to do anything with 11 players, and we're going to do something, if we are going to do something with a really strong squad. And as I've said and touched on, teams at the top of the division last year, it's strength in depth off the bench. Can you cope with injuries? Can you cope with suspensions? Can you cope with a little bit of loss of form, fatigue, and carry on in the manner that you want to do something and gain success.
First home league game then, Queen's Park Rangers. What's your assessment of them?
Yeah, it did very well when the new manager came in. It's been a topsy-turvy time for that football club over the last 2 or 3 years. I think maybe a year ago, their average league position in the Championship was like 13th or 14th. So, dangerous side, can beat you. We're in around the bottom of the league for a long period. Martin came in and changed it around, and especially at home, we're a tough nut to crack. Got some talented individuals added to them this week as well. So, yeah, difficult first day for them. They'd have liked to have got out the traps, but complete respect for what the manager did there last year in terms of turning it round in the time that he had to, and finished pretty comfortably as well. So, we have got to make sure that we are bang at it. We're not take a backward step. It's been a really good start for us. Two games, 2 wins. I've talked to the players about Bramall Lane and now how it's going to be on day one. I've told them that to have a successful season, it has to be underpinned by a really good home record, and it's important that we carry on from where we left off on Friday night in terms of a league campaign.